This video is going to show you how to do parts with multiple extrusions in Onshape. So your assignment looks something like this, where you have to select parts that would require multiple extrusions. You can imagine number one here only requires one extrusion because you could draw this L shape and then extrude it back this way. Or similarly, number two, where you just draw the T shape and again extrude it back in this direction. So let's focus on number four because that's a simple one to look at right now. What you'd have to do is break this part into two parts in your mind and build it almost like building blocks in Onshape. So let me show you how I did this. If you think about it as building blocks, there is the first block, which is back in the back, and then here is the second block. Now, ideally, these are all one part. I'm showing them here as two separate parts so that you can imagine doing that. So if we go back here, you can see there's the back block, and then here is the front triangular shaped block. So how do we do that? I'm going to start a new part studio just to show you this, and I'll pick the front plane to do my sketch on. I'm going to draw a rectangle. I'm going to put it in the middle here, and it is 6 blocks wide by 5 blocks tall. So I'll make it. If you don't, you can just start typing those numbers. If you don't, though, just go ahead and hit the dimension tool and then dimension the line. Now, you can see I just still have my 2D sketch of a rectangle. I'm going to extrude it, and this one I'm going to extrude 3 blocks because if you look at the drawing, it is 3 blocks long. So now all we have to do is add this little triangular shape piece. The challenge to you is now thinking about what sketch plane you want to draw on. You're not going to draw on one of your origin planes anymore. Typically not anyway. Let's say I'm going to create a sketch, and I'm going to pick this sketch plane because as you can think about it here, this is coming off of that sketch plane. So I'm going to hit N again to be normal to there, and I'm going to say line, and I'm going to make sure I pick these corner points over here because I know it's in the middle. I'm going to make sure it snaps to midpoint. And again, I'm just basically tracing it and allowing it to snap to those already existing points. And now you can see I don't need any dimensions on this sketch because it's to the middle point. Some of these sketches you might have to dimension the second sketch. It depends on the shape of the part. So now I'm just going to hit extrude again. How far does this come out? It comes out 3 blocks. So I'm going to put in 3 here. And I want it to be adding. So you can see solid and add. That means it's going to add this material to that part so that it's all one part. And now you can see we have a shape that looks like that part. There you go. That's it. If you want to do one where it requires you to cut away material, we could do that even with, say, number 4. Let's go back, and I'm going to actually delete this extrusion just to show you something here. And I'm going to extrude this 6 so that it's the entire block. This is just to show you a different way to do this. Now I'm going to sketch on here, but instead of drawing what I'm adding, I'm going to draw what I'm removing. So I'm going to pick the bottom corner, come up to the midpoint, and then trace this part. And now you can see I have that drawn, and if I click up here, I can now actually say remove, and it flips the direction automatically for you. If it does not, you can just come in here and drag this. You can see it doesn't like coming out this way, though, because it doesn't make sense to remove material where there is none. And this is going to be 3. And now we have the same part that we did before. It's just instead of doing 2 add extrudes, we did an add extrude and a remove extrude. So that should be it for you to figure out how to do these parts. The best way you can do these parts is to stop before you start and plan out how you're going to do it. So for example, number 7, you could draw this bottom chunk that's shaped sort of like an L and then draw this cube on top. That's just one example.